Here we're going to look at more features for the STarTrax program. A couple of things that I want to bring up, of course, is the Ephemeris. So we'll go into techniques and we'll find Ephemeris right here. And this is what it looks like. All right. And so you can give it a beginning date that you want the Ephemeris. All right. And we'll start today. You can give it how many lines. So, we have 500 lines here, but that means 500 days, okay? And you can step it, for instance, one day at a time, or you can step it every 12 hours, every 6 hours if you want to. And that's a nice part about it also, all right? And of course, it's calculate for noon, or you can put midnight here. And, if you have a chart up of someone, it really works well. So, here's position, you can have a different type of position, and you can, now we're going to set it for parallax, okay, and a true position. Now that's parallax moon. I know that parallax, probably a lot of astrologers don't really care about it, but if you believe in solar and lunar return, my wife's, if you do parallax moon and calculate without parallax, it's almost like 2 degrees. And so when we do solar return, lunar return, the thing could be, the houses could be 2 signs away. All right, so it's very important. So let's do it regular, like people do that. I guess we do it geocentric, and we do it into aberration. Okay, so now I can go up there and I say transit, and I can calculate this, and it looks like this. The moon is not in. I have to put the moon right here. It's very simple. I can put moon. I can put I could add some, like America here. That's in the asteroid belt, what I call the sandbox. Then the regular asteroid, and our software can do, I think, 2,000 of the sandbox, like Cleveland and Carroll and all kinds of different name. So we'll add the moon here. All you got to do is put a check mark in front of it, go back and calculate it, and there it is. It's calculated, all right? So now we know that the thing is calculated. And what it does here, it puts the moon position for every day, and this means that it's retrograded. When we see a shaded line, that means that the thing is retrograded, all right? So now we can look at different things. This is transit. I can even, if you got a chart up, which I have right now, right? I can also do, first of all, before we do that, we can do heliocentric, calculation. And remember here, you see this little Excel here. I can change that into an Excel sheet. And so you can, print it out, or you can print it out this way, but you can do a lot of stuff with, we can do search and stuff like that with Excel. Now, as you can see, we can do right ascension, declination, longitude, heliolatitude, sidereal, declination, longitude. That's what I forgot what her name. She takes forgot how to do it. I don't use it, but a lot of people do. They call it deck long. They take the sun. They take Mars. Let's see, Mars has 10 degrees of declination. They find the sun, where the sun is at 10 degrees of declination, and they put Mars at that position. So if the sun was, for instance, in Gemini, 16 Gemini, they put Mars in Gemini. So, I don't know. I mean, coming in from a mathematical background, to me, if you can't prove it mathematically, maybe it doesn't exist. So I fool around with it, and I have people that studied with me that really believe in it, and I don't use it. But anyway, it's here. You can do it. All right. So you can do all kinds of different ephemeris here. You can have all kinds of format. In other words, I can have an absolute, so if I calculate this now, I got absolute longitude format. All right. You notice that the moon is at 250. That would be 240 is Virgo, right? And so it's at 10 degrees of Virgo and something. You can do it this way. You can actually do it all kinds of different things. I can do it this way if I want to, and calculate it and, whatever. Or 240 must have been, it's 240 is Sagittarius, 10 degrees of Sagittarius. Okay, my fault. But anyway, you can format it any way that you want to. Here I formatted with degrees, minute, and second. All right. And so you can do, like I said, all kinds of, you can do geocentric, topocentric, you can do, true position, all that stuff there. Plus, you can do, like, for instance, if you have a chart up, and I can do backward transit. And so this is where their backward transit goes from today going down, 500 days. We can even do tertiary for this person. So in other words, we can look at it. So that means today the tertiary moon is at Pisces. It goes Pisces, and I can bring it down and look at it. Stays in Pisces. You can do just about anything you want with it. You can do 61 different type of prediction here, into an ephemeris, and you can put it into Excel. But most people are interested only into if you want helio, most people are interested into geo and geocentric in here, and that's where the position are for the planets, and that's it. But you can do all kinds of different type of, and you can do it vertically like this, horizontally like this. You can also look at the planets this way, or you can have it into a table. I know that the horizontal, graphic like that, a lot of people like it, because if I move into a little dot here, right here, that means that the moon is conjuncting Mars on July 7 to 18. So, it's great, but I like my time tunnel better. If you didn't see the thing on the time tunnel, you should go see it, because if you didn't see the video, because that, to me, is a neater way and a best way of looking at the graphic ephemeris and how to use it to make yearly update. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is call it daily aspect. Here's daily aspect. I can do it for one day, like it says here, or a few days. Let's do it just for one day right now to see what it does. So I'm going to go the aspect, the natal to transit aspect, right? I give it, it's a 5 time zone now. I want to put a 5 time zone. It's set up for West Starford, okay? And I want to say, okay, calculate that. And there it says that at 12:02 a.m. the transit midheaven trines Jupiter. And, some people use that to do, stock thing. They put a first rate chart in there and they say, oh my God, the ascendant is going to sextile Jupiter. Like here, the midheaven is sextiling Jupiter at 12 o'clock p.m. Maybe the stock is going to go up. But it's good also. This works for this natal chart right here, the chart that I got on. So in other words, the transiting ascendant will conjunct the sun at this time. The transiting moon will sextile the moon at this time. And the transiting midheaven will conjunct Neptune at this time. So it's okay to look at things differently. Now we could do transit to transit like this, and this is transit in the sky, again. So in other words, transiting Venus will sextile the transiting ascendant. We go up here, the transiting ascendant will square the transiting midheaven at this time. And this is for your locality. So if you look at 4:04 in the afternoon, Jupiter will be in opposition to the transiting ascendant, transiting. So actually, Jupiter will be on the descendant of the transiting chart. All right. So that's another thing you can, and I can do that for more than one day. Look, ingress chart. All right. I'm going to calculate that. And it tells me here that the transiting ascendant will ingress in Virgo, ingress, and it gives you the time when this will do that. The transiting midheaven will be ingress into Scorpio at 10:34 a.m. All right, so that's ingress. Now ingress in houses. I want to do that. And it says here that the transiting midheaven will ingress into the descendant of that chart that I got on the screen here, the chart right there. So in other words, at this time right here, 3 a.m., all right, the transiting midheaven will ingress into the 7th house. So, again, this is good if you're going to, do a business deal. You might want a time when the midheaven ingress into the 7th house, borrowing money for your business or for yourself. For the ascendant, you might want to wait till the transiting ascendant move into the 8th house. So it's all something we can use. And this is change direction. I like this one right here because click on this. Of course, there's new moon. There's nothing changing direction here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to advance that, 14 days. We might find something, maybe longer, and we'll calculate it. And we'll see if there's any planets that's changing direction. So you can do it for a long time. Yes. Here on November 22nd at 8:54 a.m., Neptune will go direct. So like I said, I can put this as long as I want and go up there and calculate when these planets change direction. And so this is all, see, Mercury is going to go retrograde on the December 2nd. So again, this is something that's very good. I'm going to bring that down to one day because this is going to take forever to calculate. And here I'm going to get planetary hours, and most astrology does not use planetary hour that much anymore, but it used to be used quite a bit way back then. I think planetary hours. Today we don't much care if we're in a Saturn hours but we should maybe. I know that I don't pay much attention to it, to tell you the truth. I do a lot of electional work for people, and I mean that's what rectification and electional work. I find my specialty, of course, horary also. And it's funny because last year I think it's 6 or 7 electional chart for professional astrologer. They wanted to get married. They say, I want you to do my electional chart. So I did. I do a lot of electional chart to get married. They call me a professional astrologer, but here it is. This is we're in a Saturn planetary hour at this time, Mars at this time, and it goes up throughout the whole day. So if you're interested in planetary hours and you want to do something on a Jupiter planetary hour, then it's 2:53. It goes there to 3:42. So all this time in between that, you'll be into a and if you want to here, let's say you want to set up a bell, an alarm. You can click the alarm here and save it. And at 2:53:18 p.m. your computer will go nuts. It'll go, and it'll tell you that it's time to do your thing now. So this is a good thing to have right here. I use that quite a bit. For client and for myself, and especially for my business client. All right. Now, next thing we're going to look at, I believe, is Astro Calendar. I know that years ago there was somebody, I forgot who was doing, but you used to be able to order a calendar for the whole year. things that happen in your chart. Well, you have it here. You have an option here. Click on option. You can do natal to transit in your chart, transit to transit. Well, then put it on. But of course, moon, ingress in sign, ingress in houses, planetary change movement, and then you say calculate. All right, and then you look at the calendar, and there's the calendar right here, and it tells you right here that if you look at this, the moon is disseminating, and when disseminating at 7:06 a.m. on the 7th. And it tells you that transiting Mars trine natal Saturn of this chart that I got up there. So you can have any chart. The new moon is here. If you go back, the new moon was on the 18th at 7:41 a.m. The transiting sun sextile the sun here. And if a planet changed direction, you can see where it changed direction. All right. And right here, it says that transiting Neptune will go direct at 9:54 a.m. Remember, we checked that out on the 22nd. So all that, then I can print that. And when I go to print it, all right, it asks me to print only 1 month, or you can print it for a whole year. So now I have my printed thing over here, and in the morning I like to look at it and say, okay, what's going on today? And I see the aspect that's going on in my chart. I can see, different things like here, the transiting Venus is moving into the 10th house of this person. It's a good time. And so you can see what it ingress in, when it ingress in sign. And so when there's a lot of red like this, well, you get up and you look at your calendar and says, okay, all right, it's all Mercury to Jupiter, Mercury to the midheaven, Mercury to Uranus. Hello. And then the transiting sun is moving into the 11th house. All right. Well, I think it's better that with all these semi-square here, if the transiting sun was moving in the 12th house, you'd be in trouble. So you can look at this, and this is good. You can set it up for your locality, the time zone. I can go up now and I can say do one for December. Very simple. You say calculate, and it's going to do one for December. And there it is right here, right? And so that's the way it goes. You can do all of this thing here. Remember, we said on the 3rd that transiting Mercury would go retrograde at 3:33 a.m. Okay, and so it's good to have. I print it out and I keep it next to my right there on my computer desk. I looked at that in the morning, just get an eye on it and see what's happening, because it's always nice to have. All right. Now let's see what else we can look at here. We can look at astronomy. Okay. So we'll make it big so we can see it. And so now we can say, okay, we'll start today. Oh, it's not starting today for sure. Let's start today now. Okay. And then we'll go to let's see, 17, 18, yeah, November. Good enough. We'll say that's good. All right. Now I can go and say calculate. Okay. Now this is the sun into the sign. We're not too worried about that, but you can do like, for instance, Venus here in declination. All right. And double click on it, and it's going to calculate it. And maybe I got it too long here, but you see these things right here. We have that in all our program, and I put that in first into our trading program, because we see something like that in trading program, you say, wow. And so if you hold your mouse down and you just and you notice that here you got the date when you put the mouse. So let's see, this is 3, and I go like this, I do like that. That means that I can even take it bigger like this. All right. And it tells me that when it's red like that, Venus is out of bound in the southern latitude, the northern latitude. And it tells me when it goes right here, I do the date. Let me just, I don't know why they started in 1978, but let's put it into 2017. Maybe I didn't click OK, but all right, let's do it now. All right, that's better. You can see this thing here. I can really make it big like that. I can move my mouse there, and it says that Venus goes out of bound. All right, on 1221, right at the bottom, it tells me here, and it stays out of bound till 1-3. All right, and when I see it, I can click on this. It brings back the thing again. I can make it wider. I can make it like this by moving this. And if you have a long list, you can move it back and forth. So this is good. Now I want to see Mars. I calculate Mars, and it tells me when Mars is out of bound right here. One thing that I like also is speed of planet. All right. So I double click on it, Mercury. And it tells me here that this is zero speed right here, or the line right across. That means this is going retrograde. So if we take a slice right here a little bit like that, and we go right here, it says that on 8/12/17, Mercury went retrograde, and here it went direct right there. All right. And here was at the slowest speed or the fastest speed retrograde. Now, if I put it this way, this is when Mercury is at the fastest, and this is when it's at the slowest right here, backward. All right, so we can do that with all the planet. We can do Mars. We can look at it when Mars has. But I like the moon also. See, Mars stays pretty well at the same speed. Now let's look at the moon speed right here. Moon. And now we can see that. We can see that this is fast moon, slow moon, fast moon. As you can see, the moon wasn't as fast here as it was here. Here it reached a higher speed. As a matter of fact, this is 14 something, 15 right here. It tells you at the bottom. And so, and if you look here, the moon is only going 14 something right here. 14. 14.13. All right, so that's again a nice way to look at it. We like I said, we can take a slice again and really get some true things here. Bring it back down. But let's look at the distance from the Earth. So here we'll look at Mars. We'll calculate Mars. And of course, here it was the closest to the Earth, right here, and that's 7:30:18. I think it was in the spring this year in the spring that it was really close to the Earth. I'm not sure, or was it Venus? But anyway, you can calculate this and see where it is. I think it was Venus in March. See, there is very, very far away from the Earth. That's very close to the Earth. Let's look at Venus. Venus, like my friend would call it, Venus. Okay, Venus. We'll do that. And we can see here that Venus was very close to the Earth here, far away from the Earth, very close to the Earth here. All right, and I'm sorry, that's the speed of Venus. That means it went retrograde right here. We can see that. I'm sorry, but we can do it real fast. We'll do it this way, and that's the distance. Yeah, see, this was close to the Earth here in March. I remember Venus in last March. I used to go outside and, look at it and say, looks like I could shake hand with it. And this is the furthest away from the Earth. All right. And I could do this and zero right this, and it tells me 12, the last day of the year, it's the furthest away from the Earth of this year. And then I can do a declination long again, and I can do altitude of a planet. So if I go like this and, there, that's, and I can do the longitude and the latitude. So I can look at Venus latitude there. Okay, the highest from the ecliptic, the lowest from it. So again, this is, you can play around with this, and sometimes people I hear on TV, oh, this planet's going to be close to the Earth or something like that. I go out and check it and say, yeah, I know, I can see it now. So that's again a good way to put this together. All right. Now I want to look at a couple of other stuff here. I want to look at astronomy. I want to look at another thing here, which I use quite a bit, and it's called cycle chart. All right, I do that for my weather forecasting real fast here. All right, I can go up there and I can say a starting date again, and I will put it for today. Okay, and I can do use the natal location or use any location that you want. You can set up a new location. Solar return, I can go click here, and there's solar return for 2017. 2018, 2019, I can go up there and look at it one by one. So as you can see, and then I can say send it to DB, and it's going to put it in my chart file so I can look at it, and I can make it bigger so I can look at it like this. All right, and so I can look at it. This is the solar return for 2020. All right, so this is all nice to do. I can do solar return. I can do lunar return for the year. So if I do this here and I say calculate, this is lunar return for 116, 12, 17. Now we're towards the end of the year, so we can click on this and just hit the down key, and I can see all the lunar return for the whole year. All right, and now I can do a lot of different things. I can do a phase return of the moon. That's phase of the month. This would be the new moon, and I use that to look at the weather real fast. So I go like this, and I say, okay, this is the moon for the month here, and so therefore we're over here now. We're at a full moon. And then I look at this and I say, okay, this is going to be wetter. This one over here looks like it's going to be cold and wet. The moon is in Scorpio, sun is in Scorpio. Scorpio, we have to go to Pluto, 17 degrees. Capricorn and Pluto and Scorpios are blizzard. So I'm sure that we're going to have either heavy rain, but the fact that Aquarius is on the fourth house cusp, it's going to be colder. We could have a snowstorm right here. All right. So I look at that quite a bit, and I have fun with it. And again, we can do sun ingress into sign for the year. So when they ingress into each sign, they want to look at it, because that's the way you would predict the winter. Like when it goes into Capricorn, that's the winter prediction. All right. So again, we can do that, and then we can do a moon ingress into sign, moon ingress into natal houses, diurnal chart right here. So this is a diurnal for today, and we'll say calculate it. And this is the diurnal chart for that client. So remember Sophia, I'm trying to think, 84 years old, 83 years old. Sometimes you try it. Sophia Mason was big into diurnal. And I do a thing, I call it parallax diurnal moon. And I'm going to write an article on it. I'm not preaching it right now, because the minute that you talk about it, people start using it, then they take credit for it. You don't know how many times that I sit in a workshop and people say, look what I discovered. And it's something that I wrote about maybe 6 months before that, a year before that. But by my parallax diurnal moon, that goes on a map. on a map, a locality map, can tell when you're going to have disaster. We were able to do earthquakes and in Mexico the last time, and all kinds of different things you can predict with it. You can see. I remember one of my gators in Israel, and I think it was a couple of years ago. They were thinking of getting bombed, and and we look at this technique, and we told them watch it for that day, and that's the day they were shelling them, and right to the day. So because in Israel. It was, I think it was Uranus that was going right to your on that day, and you advance it diagonally like this, diagonally. And so I believe in diurnal chart. All right. And this thing here is a phase between planets. So, phase between all kinds of planet. You can take phase between the planet. So you can do all kinds of different things with that again. And I love it. Okay. Because this is a technique that I use a little bit. And, another thing that I want to show you is real fast. Right here, I don't know what we call it, fast view. All right. I'm going to say fast view, and I'm going to go into, I don't know if I can find a chart that I can help. Yeah, there's the moon here, 205 to 2000 to 225, right? Okay, this is all phase of the moon. 90, 180, quarter moon. So we'll go down here and we'll go way down to 08, 217, and we'll go even more here, and 218. Let me go up a little bit here. I'm at 2018, and I'm going to go into right here. We're here right now. All right. See, every time I advance it, I can, sometimes you have a chart file of some of your friends and stuff like that. And Mars is going to hit, there's 2, 3 different aspects going on at the same time. And you want to see if it's going to hit one of your friends and stuff. You just put the friend chart up. Because I have a file with just friends. And then you can go and start this up. All right, highlight it, the down key, and as I look the down key, it shows me all the chart in here. So I can look at this one over here. That's December 18, Capricorn on the 4th house cusp. Libra means sort of nice weather. Pluto conjuncting the moon is in Sagittarius. And Jupiter's in Scorpio. So this is going to be that week there is going to be sort of heavy rain or snow because it's mostly snow. So, and this is how I do it. I just go down and look at all of this. This was an eclipse right there. We can see it right there. That was an eclipse. So I call that fast view. You can look at different whole chart file. Just bring one chart at a time. Bang. Of the whole chart file. Call that fast view. Again, this is something that I do quite a bit because I do that a lot with my notebook when I watch football or baseball, Gemini rising, 5 planets in air. I like baseball, I like football also. I watch sport all the time. But I need to do something else. So I designed these things here to be able to play with that quite a bit. So I really like that. I really like the fact that I can do things like that. So as you can see, our software has a lot of things that you can do. We have Planet Hour here. In other words, it's the chart on the screen, and I go and say natal chart. It tells me here, the planetary hour for this person here. All right. So in other words, here at 5:18 at 6:59 is a Venus planet hour. So this is another thing that you can do. So we have a lot of nice little things that you can do with this part right here. All right. Planetary mutual reception astronomy. We look at that. Ephemeris, fixed stars. Well, there's nothing new. It's just fixed stars, and you can really find out real quick which fixed star hits your chart. All right. And the time tunnel, of course, I did a special video just for that. Fast selection, I will do another video on that. That's a nice one. Because fast selection and stellium is the thing that I use quite a bit. All right. And that will be my next videos that I'm going to use to do that. That's really, really two good things that I can do. Of course, we have an electional program that's really good, because with the electional program, I can set it up where a person wants to get married Friday night from 6 to 7, Sunday from 11 to 1, and maybe from 3 to 5, and then put in a whole time, and it's going to find the best day. And it's the artificial intelligence in our Father Time, which is our electional program, is fantastic. All right. I mean, I keep saying, I'll give me 5 minutes to find a chart to get married with oddballs hours like that, and I'll give you 10 hours, and I'll come out with a better chart than you, because the program does it for you, and then you can check them out. All right. But I like this one in this program, because sometimes a client will call me, especially my business clients, say, I need to make this phone call on Wednesday. What is the best time? And so I use this and come up with a time for that day. So it's, again, astrology, the more tools that you have, the better astrologer that you are, because you give the people the answers, the good answers, the right answers, and it works for them, so they keep calling you and you keep making money. That's the most important part.